So today we are working on this portrait of my grandson Locke. He's a twin, and between the two of them and my granddaughter, I have unlimited reference sources, so it's wonderful. I've been working on color combinations. Today we are going to try using a underpainting color from Da Vinci called Joyce's Mother Violet. And the reason I love this color is because it granulates into these beautiful manganese blue and a beautiful pink and some purples. It's just lovely. So we're going to do that one today. Our combination of skin tones are going to be the usual gold ochre and quinacridone rose, although I may add a little bit of rhodonite because it's making these beautiful pinky skin tones, and his skin is very pink in this photograph, so we may add some of that. We're not going to focus too much on the hat, the clothes, and the background. This video is all about the skin tones and how to get a likeness. So I have traced off this photograph, and the first thing I always do is do it in black and white to check my values. So here's the black and white. That's what I trace from. I paint primarily from the black and white photo. I do keep the actual photograph nearby, but I found that if I'm watching too much, if I'm watching the photograph too much, I put in too much detail and I overwork it. I have masked out the highlights, the lightest areas in the painting, and the reason I've done this is because if I don't do this, I lose them, and then I fight to get them back. So I just will soften them later in the process, but the first thing I want to do is to establish these whites, because in the past I lost them. And not once you lose your whites, you're not able really to regain them. So even though there's not white in his eyes in the photograph, I'm just going to remind myself that there is a lighter area right here just to maintain it, and the tiniest little area right here just in case I overwork it. So okay, so this is dry, it's ready to go except for what I just did. So we're going to give that a minute, and then we're going to lay in our underpainting. Okay, so here we have the Joyce's Mother Violet by Da Vinci, which is actually, it's currently my favorite color. I'm absolutely loving it. So everywhere that I see shadows, I'm going to put in some of this color. Also going to put it in the background just to remind me and soften the transition so that he doesn't look pasted on. So we'll take it in some of these areas and cross over. This is a very light wash of this. We'll put a darker wash in eventually, just to establish some kind of a background here. This is a palette that I made up specifically for my portraits. Just want to make it a little more violet in some areas. Connected in some areas. And save it out. This is a very, very dark area right here. Comes all the way over into the hat. And then just soften edges right behind it. This comes on down here. And his whole face on this side is in shadow. The sun is coming from this direction. So we'll go ahead and put all this in shadow right here. And because I've saved out my whites, I don't have to worry so much about it. Soften all this so we don't have hard edges. Go on with our background. Drop in some more interesting things happening here. First time I painted this, I did the entire background and it just was too busy. Way too busy. That's just some shadows on his shoulder. There's a shadow under here. So I'm basically just picking out where I see shadows. See, it's starting to granulate. Oh my gosh, I love this color so much. It's just beautiful. Right here. I've got a shadow under here. And mostly this is just to remind me where the shadows are. And that's all going to be dark. That's the saddle. Coming up in here. We're getting a bloom back in here, so that's not going to show once we get the dark in. Don't know why it's doing that. I lost this shape last time, so I need to be very careful not to lose it this time. There is a little shadow under his eye right here, and there's a shadow here. And let's catch that edge again right there. Bring this all, fade this out so we have a soft edge here. Go up in here. Soften this. At this point, if you do something you don't like, you can lift it. In the original photograph, his shirt has orange in it. I'm not sure we're gonna do that. We'll have to decide once we get in here. But that was appearing very severe. So you learn every time you paint a subject, even though you do it more than once, you learn from that experience. So it's not a waste of time at all to do this, to do it more than once. Across the knuckles, there's always a shadow here. And this side of his fingers in shadow. This is in shadow here. This is very dark right here. And there's a line here under that. His knuckles here. And this is darker under here. Remember, these are just reminding us where the shadows are. This shadow comes across his arm. You can see it right here. And up under his sleeve. Here. There's a shadow. All this is in shadow. Here. There's a shadow under his arm. There's a shadow here. There's one that comes down here. This is in shadow as well. His shoulder. There's even a shadow that comes down over this. We'll leave a little line there, a little line here. We've got some dark areas under his arm there. This comes up a little bit here. That's darker there. This is all needs to be in shadow. That's okay, we'll just blend that all in. Okay. And I think that's our first wash. We're going to thoroughly let this dry. Then we'll go over the background again. And one thing I forgot is up in his hair. There's going to be shadow up in here. And there's a shadow up in here. There. And of course there's a shadow right here on his lip. And this area is very dark right here. So, okay, that's our first wash. And if you don't have, obviously, probably you don't have Joyce's Mother Violet, you can use any color you want for the background shadows. You can use cerulean blue. You can use all the colors we've talked about. Any beautiful blue or purple, violet, even a turquoise if you want to try that. As long as you wash it out and make it very soft, then you'll be fine. You could use Viridian if you wanted to. You could use a turquoise like this, or lavender, or a purple, or cerulean. They all work. So it's whatever you just want the overall feeling of your painting to be. And this time I just want it to be this very soft, soft, soft painting. So we're going to see how this works out. All right, let's zoom in. So once that dried, I've just gone back over the darkest areas, and you have to really squint down to see the darkest areas. But once you see them, you can go back in and darken those areas up with the same mixture. Right here, I just added the smallest amount of pink just to make it look a little rosier. Now we're just gonna keep a wet edge up here. Really mix this color up. I love this color so much because of the granulation in it. But obviously you have to order this color from Da Vinci. I haven't been able to find it on any other place, but you certainly don't have to have this. It's just a color I'm currently fascinated with. So, but any background color that you use, just do the same thing. Just keep going in until you get a look you like. You can use several different colors. You could use a cerulean and a pink and mix them together and get a similar effect. Or you could use greens. Greens looked very nice the first time I did this. But like I said, I tend to overwork things, so that's why I didn't want to put the greens in this. Because it's really not about the background, it's all about the portrait. I'm just dropping in some more darks as I go along here. I don't want to lose this sleeve completely. So you can see it's starting to granulate, and if you have rough paper it would do even more. But this is Arches, so it's cold press. And I'm just slowly, delicately building up the darks because I don't want to overwork this. Probably gonna, I don't know what color his shirt's gonna end up being yet. We will see. Because there is a small shadow here, I am going to work on into this. And the hat color, it's probably going to be somewhere between burnt sienna and raw sienna, just to keep it simple so it doesn't look overworked. I'm just softening that edge. Don't lose this edge right here. I lost it on the painting and could not get it back. So that's a very important edge right there. We need to soften this edge right here. Try to prevent any hard edges. I don't want to make the shadows too dark on here because they are mid-tones. They're not dark darks. And I don't know what color we're going to do the shirt yet. So I'm going to wait on that. So that's the second background layer. We're going to let that dry. I like how he's blending in. Everything is soft edged, which I think it's nice. There's just a shadow there that needs to be identified right here. We'll put back the saddle in later, the darks back in here, so don't worry about that. Let's let this dry and we will see what we have.